I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying that I haven't, nor do I intend to watch The Amazing Digital Circus. I'm just not a fan of movies / films / animations, etc. I'm a Yuminiki fan. I've played many Yuminiki fan games, and I've started reviewing them on my main channel. The reason I'm bringing up TADC is because I've heard a lot of mixed views on one of the characters being trans, and it's made me rethink a very specific aspect of my life. From what I've seen online, Jax is some character from the animated film, and she's presented as a dude for the entire show until basically last second. She's a trans character, but didn't ever actually come out as one, and essentially, either intentionally or unintentionally, again, I don't know the show at all, spent the entire show masking as a guy. Among all the different things that people said, I've seen at least more than twice the mention that this transness feels forced. This is all I'm gonna actually say about the show. The rest is about that really specific aspect of my life. If you had asked me a couple years ago whether or not it was possible for a character's transness or queerness in general to be forced, I would have definitely said yes. Unquestionably, and maybe a little bit confusingly, yes. To me at that time, there was a very clear difference between a trans character that was forced and a trans character that was real. As if being trans meant there was some kind of signal that said, hey, I'm trans, but I can't say I'm trans because that would be forced and weird. However, as I've unlearned over the years and also figured a few things out about myself, I've come to realize that this is just not how it works. Transness isn't forced, and I'd almost argue that it never is and literally can't be. Sure, maybe we can chalk up some weird anti-woke idea of a trans character that was made by someone who doesn't nor never has interacted with a queer person in their life, but if we're talking literally any depiction of transness or gayness done in good faith, I don't see how it can be forced. More often than not, it ends up being a different depiction of transness than expected, or turns out to be a plot twist. But to say that it's forced in those cases just doesn't make sense, because what the fuck is up with me, bitch? I'm non-binary. There weren't any signs as far as I'm aware. I basically identified as genderless on a whim, because I didn't really associate myself with gender and never have. Does that make my genre of trans incorrect, or somehow unexpected and thus worse? No, that's not how that works, and it's never how it works. Point is, forced diversity isn't real. Queerness just doesn't work that way. This isn't the first time I've had to unlearn something that at the time I thought was just common sense. In fact, I'd say I've had to do it a lot. The idea that transness can be forced onto a character that wasn't trans before is just one of them. Characters can just be trans one day, it doesn't fucking matter. There's another queer-oriented viewpoint that I've had to unlearn that I feel a need to bring up as well, and that's the depiction of sexuality and gender bending in young people. Black Rain is a collaborative Yuminiki fan game led by Murasaki no Yume. I pronounced that right, I think. The protagonist of Black Rain is a young girl named Shizuku, who is canonically a lesbian at age 14. This is normal. She's a girl who likes other girls, and there are many signs in her dreams that this is just how she is. I was literally one of the gayest kids in my friend groups at around the same age, but never read the writing on the wall until years later. Black Rain was great, and I enjoyed playing it. However, my actual first impression of Black Rain wasn't really at all positive. And this time, I actually have a screenshot of myself before I realized that forced diversity makes no sense. To put it simply, my first impression of Black Rain was someone saying that they were having trouble getting into the game because, quote, why would I need to know a minor's sexuality? Is it important to the story of this fan game? To which I responded, yeah, that's the kind of thing you wouldn't assign to someone at that age. If they said it themselves, then that'd make more sense, but how do you do that with a fictional character? Basically, what I was saying is that we shouldn't assign sexuality to a fictional minor because what? She might have a crush? Yeah, since writing this message, I've been thinking about this Discord message a lot, and it kinda unintentionally played a part in me realizing that this makes no logical sense. Yeah, of course we shouldn't be assigning sexuality to real minors. If anything, we shouldn't forcefully assign labels to anyone. Those other people have to come to those conclusions themselves and label themselves how they want to, like my younger self who didn't do those things because I was too busy trying to fit in with the normal people around me. But in the world of fiction, the shit just doesn't make sense. Writers and storytellers have been assigning completely absurd and even genuinely fucked up things to fictional characters without worries of morality for fucking years. It's the reason we're able to write shit about serial killer clowns without having to worry about whether or not it might make Pennywise feel bad. Making Suzuku a 14-year-old lesbian is not some kind of weird indication or implication of anything. She's just a girl like her. It's part of a character. It's not weird, nor is it forced. It's just diversity. It's how people work. Some girls are just fucking gay, and I'd argue it'd be even weirder if we weren't allowed to depict these things. I was a gay-ass kid when I was 16. Was I doing something illegal? This shit goes a lot further. In fact, I'd say it relates to part of why so many people seem to have issues with the developer of Answered Prayers and her depictions of age regression, but I'm gonna be real, if I talked any more about this subject, I'd probably get burned at the fucking stake and crucified for daring to suggest she represent herself accurately, which is relevant, actually, because Puritanism, yay! Soms, you're a fucking idiot! Anyway, all of this is to say that forced diversity isn't real, and it never was, and it took me multiple years of my life to realize that it's not real. Making a fictional character any flavor of gay or trans isn't some woke propaganda to turn girls into men and make them love other men. It's just being human, and if depicting the human experience is wrong, then I guess I'm fine, because I don't draw those often.